All right, so you're familiar with Cutco. You have Cutco. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Do you guys have a set or just a couple pieces? You guys have a
The
set?
set, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Is it like a set like this? You have like eight little steak
Yeah, I
knives?
think that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's our original set. It's our basic set. Did you guys get it from a college kid?
Yeah, they came by the house.
Yeah,
It's like my
exactly.
friend's nephew.
Yeah, yeah. It's always like some young entrepreneur. You got to help them out. Well, it's awesome. Well, hey, just so you know, I'm not sure if you remember this, but your knives are warranted forever. So what that means basically is that we do free lifetime sharpening and then free lifetime replacement. How many years have you guys had them?
Probably like 7 to 10 years, somewhere around
Okay,
there.
yeah. So you're like right at that perfect stage where like we'd highly recommend, like you'll notice the biggest uptick in performance if you like send them in and get them resharpened. There's two ways you can get them sharpened, by the way. Like you can send them into the factory. I can send you the step-by-step instructions on how to do that. I also offer like free local sharpening. So like after the event, I'll be doing some sharpening events. You can actually bring them in. We sharpen them right on the spot. If it's damaged, broken, or if it's just too worn out, beyond what I can do, like I'll actually pack it up for you, mail it into the factory. So I can tell you more about that here at the in a little bit. So what's kind of cool, the original set, I mean, that's a great set of knives, but we got a lot of feedback from customers over the years. Like that's the set we started with in the 40s, and our philosophy is if it's not broke, don't fix it. But we've also made a lot of improvements, innovations, things that we've taken feedback from customers based on the knives in the set, and kind of upgraded them and added new pieces that have added a lot of value to people. So people like said things like this, like we love our little paring knife, we use this thing to death. But like we always notice, like the tip's always what wears out fastest, and also like it's just not long enough. Like if we're trying to use it on the cutting board to get across like apples and potatoes, just same way as that is like the trimmer. This is like everyone's favorite knife. This thing gets used to death. We always would always when it gets sent back to the factory, what always is most worn out is right here. That's the tip. That's what hits the cutting board the most. And so because people use this one to death, we designed this new style called our Santoku trimmer. Basically, what's awesome about it is like with the way it's designed with the drop tip, only the tip touches. So it's awesome on like your lemons, your limes, your tomatoes, especially on tomatoes. Like, with that sharp point, it gives you kind of an X-Acto knife like precision for slicing through it. And what we really notice is like out of all the pieces in the whole set, like this knife gets used to death, and it's because it's the perfect size blade. So what you're gonna notice is when I'm showing you guys these new pieces, they come in our upgrade. They're actually most of them are designed around the size and shape of the trimmer because that's everyone's favorite knife. And then the big thing is even looking at this set, it's like like a lot of these pieces, they're good. They're pieces that are designed to have and not need, than to need and not have. Right? Like we're not butchering pigs and chickens every day. We're not carving beef turkeys and hams that often. Like a lot of bread comes pre-sliced. They're good pieces to have because they cover all the jobs. But like it's like the same way as that trimmer gets used to that, like this cheese knife here. This is actually was designed for cheese, but it's like our customer's favorite knife because nothing sticks to it. So check this out. Like take your trimmer, your favorite knife, take a slice of the potato. Yeah, it kind of sticks, right? You'll notice, even though it's super sharp, it sticks. Now take a slice of that guy.
Oh my god.
Isn't that insane?
Oh.
Yeah, it feels like magic. It's not magic. It's just the way the knife was designed. Basically, the holes lock in air. So the same way that went through the potato twice as easy, this knife here, the boning knife, does raw chicken that same way. Like I'm not a butcher. Like I'm not butchering pigs and chickens, but I am cutting up like chicken breasts all the time. A lot of times, like chicken breasts are so thick, right? So like I'll use this one to like butterfly right through it. When I'm going through my upgrade too, like what I'll always do is based on the customer, like if they're tracking with me, I just go to the next piece. If they're not, I go, I'll show you this quick little video I put together, and then I'll show them the video of me like butterflying through the chicken breast. I'm like, yeah, like so, like I always buy boneless skinless chicken breast, but inevitably there's always some sinew and fat on there, so like I zip that right off, butterflies right through it. Also taking the membrane off the back of ribs, like trimming up a brisket before you put it in the smoker. If you guys ever like cut up meat, like you'll love that knife. We actually did a side-by-side test on these two. Again, your favorite knife, the trimmer, and this one, 21 strokes, 2 strokes. It's like night and day. Same way that one does the chicken that way. Like this is the same thing on watermelon. So this was designed as our fillet knife. That's why it's really flexible. And here's the thing: I don't fish. I do my fishing at Costco. I always catch what I want. I buy big things of salmon and like I break it down into small everyday fillets. What I also love about this knife is you ever do like watermelon, cantaloupe, pineapple, this will slice right through it like butter. Minimal resistance. Most people stop process when it comes to a pineapple or a watermelon, like biggest knife in the set. So they got the big chef knife. They think big knife, big job. Makes sense, but the problem is it's very thick, so it creates a lot of friction when it goes through. This guy will slice right through with minimal resistance. Same idea as with the cheese knife with the holes. Well, then with the flexibility, you can then fillet it right off the rind. In fact, sometimes people didn't even believe me, and I'll quick show them the video, and I like scroll through the video really quickly, so it's like the 30-second video is like about 3 minutes, or about 30 seconds. No, it's about like video. Yeah, it's the 3-minute video is like basically about 10 seconds or so. I'm like, and then you see here, just right off the rind. Yeah, actually, my mom was over the other day, she was watching me cut a watermelon up, and she had this perplexed look on her face. And she's like, "Why are you making that look so easy?" It's like, "Because mom, with the right knife, with the right job, it is easy." And that's, by the way, that's with everything in the set. Like every tool has a job, and so the thing is the reason people upgrade their set is it just makes sense. Like we eat every day, so we're always using knives. It makes sense to have the right tool for the right job. It makes it easier, more enjoyable, and honestly, it's just safer, right? It's like you could use a wrench to pound a nail in the wall, but a hammer works a lot better. Right now, so like this one here, this one's called our Hardy Slicer. This is like your ribs knife. So hold that knife for me. Do the leather. Again, cutting leather with them again, it like reinvigorates them. Like we sometimes say that for new customers, but it's like cut leather with them multiple times if you can. Like I'll cut leather with the salmon knife if I need to. I cut leather with the Hardy Slicer. Like and then and make sure your Hardy Slicer is like stupid sharp, which is like yeah, like we say our eyes eat first. Like if you guys ever like smoke or grill, yeah, like I got a smoker for my wife. And like I'm telling stories the whole time. It's like connecting. So the goal is to get them emotionally connected to at least 3 to 5 pieces. So that way, like the upgrade just makes sense. And then I'm like, and then I'll go. And by the way, like the last, like some of the last 2 pieces in the upgrade are these 2. Like you notice how I almost like skipped over the Petite Santoku. Like that one just makes sense to be in there. Like it's the size of the trimmer. It's a chopping knife. It's the size of a trimmer, right? And I'm like, but I go, no, feel these 2. Now this is like one of the most overlooked knives in the kitchen. It's our vegetable knife. It's one of our hidden gems. The reason why is like it looks like a big meat cleaver. Here's the thing, like people don't necessarily have like a lot of practical use for a cleaver, but like the practical things you'll use it for, like cutting straight through a tube of ground beef that's frozen solid, hamburger patties, hot dogs, frozen vegetables, like breaking them apart. You know notice how thick it is? Like feel the weight of this thing. That's 1.5 pounds of American-made steel. Or say a pound. It used to be 1.5 pounds. That's 1.5 pounds of American-made steel. Doesn't just feel awesome. Like all I guys like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but I just really love how it feels in my hand. I'm like, yeah, like, you're not gonna use it all the time, but like, I mean, honestly, cutting through like a really, really hard acorn butternut spaghetti squash, like, you can just whack right through it. A tube of ground beef that's frozen solid, spare rib, it'll go right through spare rib bone. Oftentimes I'll buy the thigh and the wing together, it'll cut right through the joints and the bone with it. It's just an awesome knife to have. It's kind of like having a hammer and having a sledgehammer. Just makes it easier. And then like that vegetable knife, that's actually a really versatile knife that you'll love. We know chopping knives get used a lot, so in the upgrade you get 2 more chopping knives. You get the small mini one, and you get this one. This one's really nice when you do those more awkward vegetables like a pepper, onion. You can shave right off the side of it. You can chop with it, and if you're doing something that's really hard, there's no sharp tip like there is on a chef knife. You take 2 hands and it comes straight down on top of it. So people were like, Seth, we love this. Like these pieces are awesome, totally makes sense, but like I don't want to rebuy like all the things I already own. So we didn't want to penalize you in the long run for not just buying the whole set, right, from your niece or nephew. So what we did is Cutco came out with an upgrade program where basically you keep all the knives. We just basically send you the bigger block and the knives are missing. Now what's really cool is you're actually going to get the full retail value of your set in today's market. So like I had a lady who bought the set in the 80s, she bought the set from Cutco in the 80s. She told me she spent $500 on the set. Now her set has appreciated in value from $500 to $1,540. Even though she didn't pay that much originally, we're gonna give her the full retail value of her set off of the bigger set. So if you check it out, so here's the special here at the fair. So the big set is $3,300. Like this set here is $1,540. So we're gonna do that, take that full price off. Now even if you don't have like the full set, so this is even for people that have like a galley or like a showstopper, like even if you don't have the full set, I'm just gonna pretend like you do. Right? It'll be our little secret, right? So like here's the thing, like I have a whole graveyard of blocks. So even if you don't have like a Cutco block, it doesn't matter. Like I don't even need you to trade in the block. I'm giving you a credit on the block right in this price, but I don't really care. Like my wife's almost like, don't bring home any more blocks. Our garage is like full of them. So what I would recommend you do with the block, because it is furniture grade oak, it's really high quality. Save that for when one of your kids gets married, or put it up at the lake house or cabin. Because I got a customer who upgraded with me last summer. Her daughter got married this year. She called me. She just bought the knives, and it saved her like over $100 on her set just by filling in the set around the block she already owned. So keep the block. You're good there. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to send you the bigger block that has room for all the knives you currently own, plus all the new pieces that we're looking at here, right? Plus you get 4 more steak knives. We always like the only complaint we ever get about the table knives is like there's never enough. Like they're always dirty in the dishwasher. Sometimes they go like, oh, you can put them in, like, I'm like, here's the thing, you might be a better Cutco parent than I am. Like I throw mine in the dishwasher all the time. Like some people are like, oh, I never throw my babies in the dishwasher. Here's the thing, it won't hurt the handle or the blade. So what's awesome, again, we send you all these new pieces. What most people do is once they get these new pieces, they take all their old stuff, they put it back in the block. They just literally take the sleeves off of these ones, put them back on those ones. I send you the step-by-step instructions on how to do this, put them back in the box, send them off to Cutco. You try these knives out for a full month. Basically, make sure you love them, use them, want them, make sure it gets worth the reinvestment. Now, we know you're going to love them to keep it because everyone does. And what's really awesome is here at the fair, you don't have to pay for that all at once. Like we just take the discounted package price, We just break it up. So it's $351, basically like the cost of a couple Cutco knives, right? We're gonna send you everything. You guys try them out together. When you love them, they just bill that same $351 in your card for 4 more months. And it's like reverse layaway. And in fact, I actually have a buddy who sells cookware, and he's like, "You guys are crazy for doing this, right?" Because it's like we have a layaway program, and when they pay it off in like 6 months to a year, then we send them all the product. You guys do it in reverse. Like you send them everything up front, and then they just bill you, and then you bill them until it's paid off. Like that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, but Cutco has a loyalty to their customers, so that's why we do that. So, just in review, basically, we get you a whole bunch of trimmers on steroids that are really, really good at their jobs. And then what's awesome, like, just so you know, we do have these new bigger steakhouse style steak knives. Now, a lot of my customers really like these a lot more. Like the table knives was the only option for our steak knives for 70 years. And we are in Texas and everything's bigger in Texas. So, as an extra special deal to you, I'm going to keep the price. These ones are $160. These are for these are $300. I'm gonna actually keep your upgrade price the same price. I'm gonna upgrade you to 4 of the big man steak knives, and then your 8 little ones will fit here along with the 4 big ones. Now, by the way, you guys have the scissors, right?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome! Like your scissors is gonna have a spot right in the block too, so everything will fit together on your counter. Now, the really nice thing is too, you see how this block looks really big? Like I grab a piece of paper, like it's the same size. The footprint of the block is only the same, is only an 8x11. So it's the same size as a piece of paper. So like, and I had a galley kitchen for years. I had no room on my counter. So like, I know, like I had no room on my counter, but I also had even less drawer space. So like, by the way, like Cutco's worthy of your counter space, right? So like, you wouldn't park your Ferrari in the street, right? You park it in the garage, and the block is the garage for the knives. So for you guys, do you guys have like darker cabinets or lighter cabinets?
They're darker.
Darker?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you like the idea of doing the interest-free option where we just split it up for you, or would you rather just knock it out at once?
Yeah, there's no interest, might as well.
Yeah, I mean, use our money versus yours, right? And then what color handles do you guys have at home?
We have the white.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I promise I won't make you have a zebra set. You know, because the problem with zebra sets, you only cut zebra meat. So just go ahead and fill this out for me, and then we'll get that ordered for you.
So, a question. So you don't show any prices until after you've already pitched everything.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So the rationale there is like, again, when showing an ultimate, it's like if you go right into like if you're explaining the ultimate after you showed them prices, they're like, yeah, we don't need that many knives. They're thinking that because like they don't want to spend $3,000. Versus you show them the 3 to 5 pieces in the ultimate that they're gonna emotionally connect with. The boning, like I don't need that many knives. Like here's the thing, all the knives you want are in the big set. The boning knife, the salmon knife, the santoku, the vegetable knife, like the 4-inch paring knife, like all the knives you want are in the big set. Like I've literally had customers that go like, well, which one did the watermelon knife come in? I'm like, it just comes in the big set. They're like, what do you think? Should we just get the big set? You know, it's like, because people, again, it's that fear of missing out. Like, well, I don't want to not have like the right tool. Like we cut up watermelon. It's so frustrating. Again, it's crazy that people will spend all that money. Like I had a lady buy an upgrade once who thought she was trading in all of her knives, spending $1,300 and getting like these I had only showed her 5 knives, and she thought she was trading in all her whole homemaker set, paying $1,300 and getting these 5 knives, and she was like, okay. I was like, no, like you keep your knives, like those go in the block with this, like you also get these other 4 knives. She's like, oh, great. Like, so again, people don't buy because they understand, they buy because they feel understood. And it's like, hey, like we heard you, we heard your feedback, we heard your struggles, and this is how we solve them. And they're like, oh, that totally makes sense. Like I want these struggles to be solved. So now it's just less time cooking, more time with their family. Isn't that what we want? Like we don't want to spend, like we like people connect around food, but like we want nice tools that make the food prep easier and more enjoyable, so we can really do what we really want to do, which is connect over the food. Right? Again, if they're not excited about, like if they're either price points too high or they're not excited about some stuff that comes in it, like, hey, like, here's this cool, like, because usually at the end of it, if they're usually they're not excited about the price, and so like, can I just buy individuals? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Hey, by the way, like most people don't just do most people don't do the whole upgrade right away. What a lot of our customers like to do is our builder upgrade. Mm-hmm. And like, so what's great is all we do is we just help, we kind of like whittle it down to just like your 5 most pieces you're most excited about, and we just send you the bigger block and those knives. So that way you get started, with some more. Everything still has its own safe spot to store, and then when you guys are ready to finish it out, we just build out your upgrade around what you already own, and all that does is make your upgrade later cost less. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, so like if we had to eliminate some pieces, then I'll just like I'll grab like the vegetable knife and the petite knife. I'm like, which out of the two chopping knives, which one would you see yourself using more? The little one? Okay, great. Out of the watermelon knife and the raw meats knife, which one would you use more? If they're like, oh, I like them both. I'm like, cool, we'll put those over there. Out of the hearty slicer and the 4-inch paring knife, which do you like more? Oh, probably the grilling knife. Okay. Out of the you just help them eliminate pieces to get down to 5. I'm like, cool. So here's what's awesome. We've only eliminated like 4 pieces and a couple steak knives, but the price comes down dramatically. So what's awesome is, and then I just added up, like with the pieces you guys already have, and especially here at the fair, like your price is only going to be, and it's like I just added up full price. Like your price is only going to be this much, and then what's really nice is on the payments, it's only this much. Now I still really want you to like me and want to buy more later. So even though originally I was going to give you those 2 gadgets, when you did the full upgrade, as long as you promise you won't have a one knife stand with anyone else, Shelly, I'm still gonna buy you the $51 can opener, or ice cream scoop, and the $61 can opener. Include both of those guys for free. Like with something like that, with that option, like make a little bit more sense budget wise and like knife wise. Like, are you excited about those pieces? Is there anything that you wouldn't use if it was in your kitchen? And it's like that's a confirmation question. And if I can kind of tell there's a little hesitancy, I'm like, hey, by the way, like I always know like the best time to talk about it is in front of the knives, but not in front of me. So I want to do this. I'll give you guys a little space to talk about it. I'll be right back, and then I'd be back then. So whenever I sense hesitation, as long as I'm like they're close. Like they were jiving with the pieces. They like it. Like I can tell they want to talk. Especially when you have the couple, I can tell they want to talk. Like I just go, hey, by the way, I found the best time to talk about it is in front of the knives, but not necessarily in front of me. So I won't hover. I'll give you guys a little space to talk about it. I'll be right back, and then I'd be back then, and then and sometimes I'll like literally like I'll finish, and then like I'll literally like I'll kind of like I'll finish explaining that, and I'll like kind of like take a step back. I'll like kind of look back like I'm looking, and like sometimes they just start talking, and then I just go, oh cool, like I'm gonna make myself busy over here, and I'm gonna look for something, and I'm gonna straighten something, and then and I kind of just pay attention to their verbal things, and then sometimes it's like, hey Seth, we're still gonna need to talk about it. I'm like, hey, no worries. Hey, let me just I'll write it down for you real quick before you that way you can talk about it while you walk around.
Right.
And then I got out a piece of paper, and then I started asking more confirmation questions. Hey, by the way, like, so like what do you guys come to the fair every year? So again, build like a quick like break their pattern, build a little bit of rapport, and then I'm like, and so the first thing I write down is like Cutco Seth, smiley face. I go, oh hey, by the way, like what was your guys' names? You're like, oh, she's Shelly and Dave. Okay, hey Shelly and Dave. Like, hey, by the way, I'm Cutco Seth, sharpest guy you know. Like this will be me when you come back. I'll be the one smiling, so you can recognize me. Hey, just so we're on the same page, like, do we like with this second option I showed you guys? Do we like that option? Is that like would that work in the budget if you really wanted to? Could you guys budget like the $260 for the 5 payments? And if they're like, I'm like, or is it kind of pushing the envelope? Like I kind of like give them the out, and they're like, yeah, it's kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. I'm like, okay, cool, yeah. Well, hey, just so I know, real quick, let me ask you, do you guys need the block right away? And they're like, I mean, no, we could probably live without it. Because I just want to throw this out there. Like, the block is very expensive because it's a very nice, high quality block. Like, it's actually furniture grade oak milled in an Amish mill. And it's like, there's the same amount of oak in here as a full size cabinet. So believe it or not, like just that block by itself is $400. So if we can live with that block for now, I just want you to know about this option. They give me the ability, like I can do it without the block. Like normally it's like all bundled together, but like I can do it without the block. If we just did that, got you the same package price, that would actually drop it down from $1,000 down to just 600. What have I done there? Nothing. I haven't given anything for free. I just dropped $400 at the price, and I'm like, and on the Cutco pay now you're only looking at like 120. Like, would that and I still want you to like have a safe way to store them. So how about like if you guys wanted to go ahead and do that, like what I'll still do for you, I'll actually buy you guys this $30 storage tray, include that for free. It's kind of cool. Like obviously I know you guys already have the other Cutco block, but I recommend to my customers you just play musical chairs with the knives in that block. Like you're gonna use a lot of these pieces, probably more than some of your original ones. So just put the ones that you don't use as much in the or in this storage tray in the drawer, and then put the ones you're gonna use the most in the block. And then next year, if timing's better, like we can talk about like just finishing out the whole upgrade.